Well, hello, hello. Monday Talks with Ayanna Smith. We are here sharing a little bit and just, I want to ask you a few questions. What is an annuity and how do they work and what's going on and what do we do? What is an annuity all about? Well, listen, we have an expert that's going to share with us some ins and outs of annuity that just basically break it down to us in a very, very simple way that even a kindergarten student can understand it. And we will be right back in just a few seconds. Well, we are back with Money Talks with Ayanna Smith. And of course, I'm your host, and I'm Ayanna Smith, an expert financial professional, insurance broker, life insurance broker. I don't want to get that mixed up and think I can help you drive around in cars because I cannot do that. But I can help you to drive to a better future with your life insurance endeavors. All right. But tonight we have, and today, whenever you're listening, replaying, and sharing, we have an expert with us who is just going to let us know some great things. She's a great friend of mine, great leader, mentor, all that good stuff. You know how you have a person that's all rolled into one, but they're just great people and very knowledgeable. So without further ado, we're going to bring Miss Janice Sanderlin to the stage, also known as Coach J. Vernita, and we're going to bring her up in just a moment right now. All right.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, hello. How are you?
I'm doing great, Ayanna. How are you?
I am great. I'm great. I just, moving along. Yeah, that's what we're doing, right?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
We're so glad to have you here on Money Talks.
Hey,
And
thank you for inviting me. I'm excited to be here with you on tonight.
absolutely. So we're going to just like give a little bit about yourself, a little short snippet about yourself. Of course, people will read comments and all that, but just share a little bit, and then we'll jump in and just have a conversation about annuities.
Okay, well, great. Again, thank you so much for having me. My name is Janice Sanderlin, known as Coach J. Vernita. I'm from Chesapeake, Virginia, and I am excited to be with you all on this evening. I serve in the church as an evangelist, assistant state supervisor, and I am a retired postal employee after 34 years. My profession now is I'm a financial coach and professional, and my job out there is to make sure that I help people understand what it means to be protected in the areas of both life insurance and annuities.
Oh wow, so
Yeah.
simply put, so eloquently put,
Yeah.
and you do just that. And I'm excited to be partnered, with you in business. So this is just a win-win on
Yeah.
this occasion. All times is always something fun to do, share, and keep growing and elevating together. So tonight's topic, we want to talk about what are annuities because sometimes people aren't sure about what they are and kind of shy away from them. It's almost just like sometimes a word that's not prevalent. So if you can just give us a little bit about what an annuity is, what it is not, and help the people on seeing who would be suitable for an
Oh,
annuity.
oh, yeah, by all means, by all means. Well, first and foremost, an annuity is a contract. It's a contract that's made between either insurance company or some type of financial institution that will give a person monthly payments or consistent payments over a length of time. Uh, it is something that you hear often in the areas of retirement. That's where you hear it mostly. A lot of times, people, majority of the time, people who are retiring are talking about annuities. Those who are younger, you don't hear a lot about that because they're not looking at what's going to happen after, say, 65. Well, people who are older are trying to figure out in retirement, am I going to have enough money? Because that has become the biggest fear. Statistics show that pretty much 25% of men who are 65 will live to the age of 89. And then 25% of women who are 65 will live to the age of 92. In those years, you're talking about 24 plus years, am I going to have enough money to last me in retirement? And that's where the biggest fear is coming in. So annuities are a place where you can literally take and put a lump sum of money. And again, most retirees will take in what we call rollover. I'm sure most people are familiar with the term rollover. That money that they've been building up in their 401ks, their TSPs, whatever retirement strategy they've had on their job. And they will take that lump sum of money and move it from that place and place it into what we call an annuity. At that point, what happens is they're looking for a place that's going to protect the money that they have, especially now when this market is so up and down. It's like, oh my God, what in the world are we doing? People are losing money left and right. But there's a place called annuity that can protect your money because it has a floor that will go no less than 0%. So when the market crashes and you get that negative whatever, you don't get that in annuities if you've got the right plan. Then there are several types, and we won't get into all of the types that there are, but just know that there are types of annuities out there where you don't have to experience any. When I say any, you don't have to experience any loss because they protect the gains that you've already made. So that in itself is already a plus. The uncertainty of whether there's going to be inflation, the uncertainty of how high taxes are going to go, because we are certain that they're going to go higher. But the uncertainty of how high they will go is what contemplates the retiree at this point. So they're trying to find an avenue that will give them something that will carry them throughout their lifetime. And the annuity is the way to go. Now, I do want to say, usually they're looking at placing that money. What makes it so different, you're placing money into a vehicle that you can do one or two things. It can be deferred, which means that it's going to sit there for 7, 10, 15 years and gain whatever rate of return or interest that it is going to gain. Or you can take immediate withdrawals. Because some people say, okay, I've got this money here. It's enough to carry me through my life, but I want to protect what I have, but I need to have some now. There are places where you can put it in an annuity and you can actually get immediate payments out.
Let me ask you. Those are awesome, great things.
Mm-hmm.
Very awesome, because people want to. I heard you say protection. They want to make sure their money is not flying out the window, because if they've already looked at those statements and they've seen their money just basically disappeared, just gone. Just gone. Then it's like, what do we do? Yeah. But I do have a question from one of my great sisters, Lena Lassiter, and she's asking, is there a penalty? Can there be penalties? I know we have no look periods and stuff like that, but are there penalties with annuities, or is it based on contract?
Okay, well, there are penalties if you're doing an annuity that's supposed to be sitting there for 10 years, let's say. The penalty comes into play. Most of them now, there's some that's giving a 10% free withdrawal, which means you could take 10% of the money that you actually placed in there annually without getting any penalties. But because it's a contract, what they have is a decreasing penalty charge, which means it may start off in the first year. If you take anything over that 10%, that money that's over the 10% may be charged a 10% penalty. And then in year 9, it may be 8, or it could be in year 7, it may be 4. It just decreases at the longer you leave it there, because your contract is for 10 years. And what they're looking at is they've agreed to give you usually some bonuses with this contract. And they say, because I'm going to give you these bonuses, you're going to allow me to hold this money for this 10 years and do what we do and make us a whole bunch of money while we give you a whole bunch of money. It ain't as much as you're going to get, but you're going to get enough to be satisfied.
Yes.
And they say, but when you start taking it out in increments more than 10%, then it's like, okay, you're not holding up your end of the bargain, pretty much.
Right. Because we gave you a bonus. We gave you some extra money.
Yes.
So that when you started taking those lifetime income credits and things like that, that's the contract part.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Yes.
said you uphold your end
I
throughout
told mine.
because we front loaded you.
Yeah, and some of those bonuses up to like 30%,
Mhm.
35% of what you actually put in. I mean, and where that comes into play, so I don't want nobody to get confused. That comes into play when you take a lifetime stream of income, when you take a lifetime withdrawal, because you don't want to, that is not going to come into play if you take the whole lumps at the end of your 10 years. You say, oh, I want all my money. No, this is for that annuity piece. That's why they call it an annuity, because now when you decide to take the money, you're going to take it out from that point until you close your eyes, a certain amount every year.
Mhm.
Okay. And once you do that, that bonus money is now included in the money that you put in there from the beginning and anything that's grown. It's amazing to me. It's
Yes.
amazing. Yep.
Yes, because it's almost like I hear almost like three streams flowing out into your pocket. What you put
Absolutely.
in,
Yes.
of course, yes, and the money that it's made because that's what it was supposed to do, a vehicle to make money.
Right.
But then the bonus money comes
Yes.
in
Yes.
there as well as a nice little little peppermint or something
Mhm.
spun together.
Yeah, and it's one thing too that my wife, the viewers need to understand is this: if you decide not to trigger that and turn that lifetime income stream on, you still can take money from it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're trying to say, well, I'm not old enough, but I can take money after the 10 years, you don't have no penalty. So if you need to take 20% out, you can take the 20% out and you still don't have to turn on your lifetime income stream. That bonus is still sitting there, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's still making money. It's still so maybe you're 15 years out and you decide, I don't want to move it. This is doing great. I'm gonna leave it right here. But you've got protection and you've got growth all the time. That whole
So
time.
let me ask you this. So basically you're saying you have a 10-year annuitized period that the money has to stay there so you won't get the penalties and you can get all the growth and all of that. But you can let it stay a year 11, year 12, and it still will make those credits
It's
and bonus. I mean,
it's still gonna make
interest
it's
as
still
well.
it's still going to make money. Absolutely. 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 And the timing, the contract is up to you, what you want to, how long you want to put it in. Doesn't have to
Correct.
be 10. That was just an example. Yep.
Correct. Right.
But
Because some
most of them
are
are no less than 7 though.
right.
Most of them are no less than 7. Mm-hmm.
That's what I was going to say. Next question, but I know there's a 7-year that we
Mm-hmm.
talk about sometimes, but the
Mm-hmm.
10 is usually kind of sounds like the one that people
Yes.
go for
Yes.
because oftentimes companies, if I'm correct, will offer a better bonus the longer you keep it.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yeah, because you're giving them opportunity to make themselves some money. This is
Mhm.
a two-ended street here. You push and pull. Help me, I'm
Yes.
gonna help you, right? Yeah. You
Yes.
think about it. You get somebody give you that money and they say, honey, you can hold on to it. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I'm gonna
Right.
do something with it. So it'll give you a bigger bonus to leave it there.
Absolutely. So how have so basically you talked about retirement being the candidates, but how just a general people say I want to qualify, or how do you get into one? Is there a qualification? Because sometimes people know about insurance qualifying
Mhm.
health wise, but an annuity doesn't call for health
No,
qualifications.
no health
No.
is involved. No health is involved with annuities, and that's where a lot of people who have a lot of health issues that have a lump sum of money sitting aside. That's why they will come to annuities.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, you can get an annuity as long as you. I would suggest. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I would suggest maybe in the 40ish range for retirement purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you have to remember, we have entrepreneurs out there, and they're coming in younger and younger and younger, doing their own business and things, and they have no retirement.
Right.
Definitely, definitely something that they need to consider, because a lot of times our entrepreneurs are making gobs of money, and
Mm-hmm.
they're just putting it in a bank somewhere. But listen, they could literally load up an annuity while they're making all of this money. And listen, if they choose to take it out, then wonderful. But if not, I mean, hey, we want them to put it over there and let it stay and let that be their income for their retirement time.
So annuities can help not only the traditional W-2ers, like I like to say, the W-2ers
Yeah,
and the
absolutely.
1099ers. The W-2, yes, most of the time when we're of age or in that
Mhm.
traditional
Mhm.
role, our boomers, our Gen Xers, we more
Yes.
kind of held the traditional W-2 route and are closer
Mhm.
toward the retirement age because we're
Mhm.
older. But you're saying that entrepreneurs, this is something that entrepreneurs can take advantage of on the front end at a younger age because if
Yes.
they have money that's collected there, they don't have to have it just sitting
Absolutely.
in the bank. Because oftentimes I do know when people start making a lot of money or they have money amassed, they get hit with so many taxes and
Yes.
because they
Yes.
don't know what to do with it, or they can't you can't look we say get rid of it fast enough because it's coming in so
Mhm.
fast. So
Mhm.
you have to diversify your
Yeah.
portfolio, and life insurance is one sure way to diversify, but annuities is another way to diversify too, correct?
Yes. Yes. Because you think about it, especially with your entrepreneurs, they don't have that 401k or that TSP.
Right.
Well, the annuity will act just like that for them
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
without the loss. Without the loss.
Wow.
Think
Without the
about it,
loan.
without the loss, because they got that zero floor. So
Right.
my TSP, and I can share this in 2008. I don't know the age group that's watching right now, but there's some people who are on here right now who experienced 2008. I
Mm-hmm.
lost 40% of my retirement
Mm,
in my TSP, right? Because the market crashed.
correct.
Now
Correct.
that was already over 20 something years at the post office.
Right.
I didn't
Right.
have 20 something years to go to make that up. And see, that's that, when you're younger and you lose money in a career, then that's why they say, don't look at it. It's going to come back. Da, da, da. You got that time. But when you're in your 40s and 50s, you don't have that kind of time to make that money back up. So you need to look at putting it somewhere that you can make sure that you're not going to have that loss. And I want to address that she asked a question about a penalty also. And that's
Mm-hmm.
if not withdrawing it from the actual annuity company. However, if you're looking at rolling some money over, if you've retired or if you've quit a job, some people may have money that they say, oh my God, I mean, literally forgot that they had it from jobs that
Mm-hmm.
they actually quit. Okay, or maybe was released from, and they have money sitting there. Those monies can always be moved, but be very mindful if you're working and you got money in your TSP or your 401k and you want to move that money. Just know if you're not 59 and a half, you got the taxes that you got to deal with and the penalties. Okay. So I just want to say that because we're not tax experts, but I do know that much in regards to moving money from a TSP or any type of retirement vehicle. The 59 and a half rule comes in play.
Right,
Okay.
absolutely. And the required daily, that the required distributions that you have to take out, does that hit anybody that 72-year age that you have to take out your
Yes,
retirement
if that I mean, and
RDMs?
most of these absolutely, most of the financial institutes will remind them
Mm-hmm.
uh, yeah, if they come in before the 72, but if they come in at the 72, they can go ahead and set it up so that it's automatically going to be start coming out. And then the other piece about that is if it's before April, if your birthday is before the April 15th time, you got to do that RMD, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if it's after the April, then you have another year.
Gotcha.
Okay, so
When it
just
comes
keep
in.
that. Again, I'm not the tax person, but I
Right.
just want to throw that out there so you can make sure you check up on these things because you
Correct.
don't want to get in trouble and end up having to lose 50% of that money.
Right.
It's ridiculous. It's
That's
ridiculous
that's
because you missed the
that's just
deadline.
like taking a knife and stabbing yourself.
Yes,
I
yes,
mean,
yes,
it is.
yes.
It's terrible. Let's say, hey to my brother-in-law Roger, and
Hey,
also, hey Roger, and also, Lena asked another question, which is good. TSP, is that the thrift savings plan? Yes, it is.
yes, ma'am. Yes,
It
yes,
is.
it is.
Yes,
Yes, it is.
but here it is. Just to give you an insert here: thrift savings plan, 401k, 403b, 457s are all basically the same thing. The reason why they have a different number, name, lettering, and all that, it just tells Uncle Sam where you are working and where the money is coming from, whether you're a private sector, 401k, service oriented, 403b, civil service, military, TSP.
Yes.
457 is kind of across the board because there's some hybrid mixes that are going on now, especially like with different state retirements. You will see it layered in with 457 and 403b for like teachers and educators and hospital administrators and what have you. So that's the only thing, because here's the deal, everybody. There is only, even though it's all those codes, there's only one stock market.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
There's only one stock market, and therefore we have to remember that no matter where we're working and where our money is being placed, when the stock market goes up, we make money if we have it in the right place. And when the stock market goes down, our money flies out of the window, just like we rolled it down, and it's just flying out.
Unless you got an annuity.
Unless you have.
Unless you got an annuity.
And that brings us back to the importance of that was a good hook around, wasn't it? That if you have that annuity, that gives your money some stability, and you do not have to be, as shaken and shocked. Now, everything has some risk, yes, but if you can lessen the risk, why not try a vehicle that can do that for you? Also, help me out, Ms. Janice. The annuities will also help. We talked about lump sum, so because I really want to frame it where people are not just saying, "Oh, it's just for retirement." I'm nowhere near that. Oh, I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm nowhere near that. But sometimes people gain an inheritance.
Yes.
They gain an inheritance. They may have some family members that have left them money, or they have gotten money through. Here's another one that's coming to my mind. They gotten money through life insurance, yes, but also too, when people play the lottery and hit that, and they ask, do you want a lump sum or do you want to get payments?
Yes.
Ding, ding, ding. That is, if you say, I want to get payments, then the state takes the money and puts it into, guess what?
Annuity. Yes.
So why don't you just go ahead on and take that lump sum if that's what you have done, and hit the number and put it in an annuity for yourself.
That's it. Remove the middleman. Yeah. And then when you said that brought me back to this, and I'm gonna tap it, then I'm gonna leave it. Okay. I worked 34 years at the post office. We're talking about working, doing something for yourself. I paid 5 times my income in my insurance. Okay. When I left there, I did not have any cash value whatsoever from my insurance. Whereas if I had some sense and actually gotten me some insurance on my own outside of the post office, I would have had 34 years worth of some kind of growth. Right. Just want to throw that out there to y'all that's working. Please think about your insurances as far as overfunding them, and make sure you got something outside of your place of business. And that's where Miss Ayanna Smith gonna come on in there and help you out. Okay.
Right. Because thank you. I mean, because if you had taken that and sometimes you cringe to even think about the number of that money that would have been invested to yourself. If you're paying 5 times your salary to get a benefit, and then you retire. Did you get anything?
I die on the job. If I die on the job.
That's my if, right? If you had died on the job, but you retired. So that means that benefit is null and void now because of the clause of why and how you'd have gotten that money. Absolutely. So you think about everybody, we just go along, but if we're going to pay 5 times to ourselves. 34 years goes by like Shazam fast. I mean, I look up and say, what in the world has the time going? How did I get this old? And what in the world is going on? What's going on next? But we don't think about it because we're so busy just trying to work and grow and amass money and this and that, and just on that wheel, that rat race, and say, wow, 34. We look up at 34 years have passed by. So
Absolutely.
let's really think about, we can do this, everybody. We can
Yes.
do it,
Yes.
because if we are eating out and if we are, putting money for entertainment, things like that, it can go toward us, and we'll look up and have a lump. I actually talked to a man today, and we were just meeting and talking at an event, and he said something about, he said, do you all still have those ULs? And the way he asked the question, I said, did you sell insurance?
Okay.
And he said, yes, I did. And I had policies from the 1980s with my daughters. Okay, it is 2023, basically.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So so look at that time span from the 80s. That's 40 years.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes. Oh
So
my goodness.
so everybody, do we see how we're living longer? We're getting healthier. And if we just start now and just make what we think is a sacrifice, we'll look up and be 80, 90 years old, and that money will be to our good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there are there are a few companies who most people want to know what's the minimum.
Mhm.
The norm is 10,000. But
Mhm.
there are a few companies that do have 5,000 as a minimum.
Yes.
Then there are a very few companies that will allow you to make monthly payments.
Right. Mhm.
So, just kind of keep that in mind. Of course, the more you put in, the better it's going to benefit you because of that bonus that's going to
Yes.
come with it. If at the end of the day, had someone who actually did retired, had done well. When sometimes coming from different backgrounds and situations, when you start to make money, it makes a lot of difference in your life. And some people are very conscientious about their spending. Well, she done well. She did very well. She had over 600,000 that she was able to roll over into an annuity.
Mm-hmm.
Multiply that times 35%.
Okay.
Add that to her bonus.
Quick math.
Come on, somebody.
Quick
Yes.
math.
Yes.
Quick math. Quick math would have been 60,000. 1%. 10%. 10%. Yeah. 10%. Yeah. Good grief. Yes. That was awesome.
35% bonus.
Yeah. That
Just
was
sitting there for her to say, okay, I'm good now. Let me go ahead and start bringing this money in every month.
Yeah, exactly.
And if she does not use it, what she does not use, of course, is left to her beneficiaries.
Okay,
and then they come into that spot where you talked about, are you going to take it over the length of time, or are you going to take it as a lump sum? If they got any sense, they're going to take it over the length of time, because now they get to include the bonus money in what's left. But if they take it over the lump sum, they're going to only get what she put in and the interest that's grown.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. They'll get the 2 instead of the 3. That's just my simple thinking.
Good. Let me say this too. When it comes to qualifying, ladies and gentlemen, everybody can't do this. Okay. Health has nothing to do with it, which is a plus. However, there are there's a suitability test that you got to pass, pretty much, in the sense of looking at the finances, your financial stability and health. At the end of the day, your annuity cannot be more than 50% of your worth. Okay.
Gotcha. And that's and may I say, is that the net worth of that person? Right. So that's your assets. That's the bottom line of what things that you own. That's why we do sit down and talk about, you may hear us say, let's do an analysis. Let's talk about what you have going in, coming out, and all that. And that is the key piece that we have to make the numbers make sense.
Yes, because that liquid assets come into play also. Depending on your age, it could be 3 months of your expenses or 6 months of your expenses that need to be in the bank. So we find it. If you got it, we're gonna find it. But at the end of the day, just want you to know, because we got some folks out there that got money, but they didn't get it the right way. So they can't account for all their stuff. They just want to put something in here. look, we got to be able to document some things now, okay? Got to document some things.
Right.
So, you know how you got it. It may be different, but as long as you can document it right, we can work with you.
Right. No brown paper bags. No
Right,
under the
right,
table.
right,
You're
right,
right.
right.
Yeah. Look, I see Miss Valerie is here. One of my great friends, Miss Valerie, said outstanding. And then we have Deborah Fry, which is one of our on our other side, our co-authors
Hey,
and great
lady.
supporter. She said, so proud of you both. Y'all are teaching us, and that's what we are here to do.
Mhm.
Teach what we were taught and
Yes.
help others to learn what we have learned. And it's all about teaching others, and let's elevate together.
Yeah.
And that's what we're money talks. That's what we're talking about it.
Yeah.
And my tagline is say we're talking about it even if it even money is always talking, even if we
Even if
aren't
we
talking
not-
about it.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing tonight, talking about annuities, which is sometimes a foreign word or we didn't understand it. So for
Mhm.
those who are getting more understanding on how this is working, if you are, now you have something to add to your arsenal. And when you see it, we don't have to shy or run away from it or feel fearful or fretful about it because we have at least a baseline. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. When we talk about diversifying, this comes into play. This should
Yeah.
be one of the things there. Because when other things go down, you need to have something else that's coming up. And when
Mhm.
other stuff runs out, you need to have something else that's going to plug in and make the difference. So this is a prime example of one something that you can do to benefit your life for the rest of your life. Because I like the idea of lifetime income.
Yes, 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 yes. And to recap that, lifetime incomes mean you can turn on a stream of money on top of what you already made and have made interest on, gains on. And now you basically, I think of it like this: you've turned on a check to yourself.
Absolutely.
You're getting a check from money that you placed into something to invest into you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Good deal.
So as we kind of get ready to land the plane, what are
Oh,
some of your parting words? I mean, of course, we like to. I always say, save, grow, invest, repeat. So that's one like a mantra that I have on the show as
okay.
well. So what are you thinking about? And as you have, how is an annuity or anything in the financial arena help to shape your life and help you personally, and then your goals on helping other people? So.
Well, it's made me more stable. Being in the financial industry, now I kind of understand. I still say kind of because there's so many things out there that we still are just learning as we go.
Yes.
But now that I know better, what we say, I do better.
Mm-hmm.
Even start with something. Start somewhere. Don't just keep putting it off because guess what? I'm gonna say this, and y'all might not like me. Don't shut me down. We'll say, don't shut me down when I'm talking good, right? We're
Right.
gonna spend money on Christmas. We done spent money on birthdays. And most of us are, of an age now that some of that stuff we don't have to have. So you have to purpose in your mind, in your heart, and in your mind, and be intentional about your finances. And when you're intentional about your finances, you'll make the correct steps to make things different, not just for you, but for your legacy as well. So, you have to think about those who are coming behind you and what you can do for them, because we're supposed to leave an inheritance for who? Our children's children. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Thank
So,
you.
well, thank you. Oh my goodness, this has been so great. We surely appreciate your time, Miss Janice, for stopping by
Yeah.
and sharing with us. And we'll look to have you back. And Sister Deborah says, so true. Lord mercy, where do I start? I'm over 60 years old. Well, you know what? We need to talk about that
Yeah.
because sometimes there's still some alternate plans that we can even help, and it's still not all hope is not lost. That's what I
Absolutely
would say.
not.
All
You
hope is not
start where
lost.
you are. That's what you do. You start where you are.
Start where you are. And
Absolutely.
Lena said, thank you both. You are certainly welcome.
You're
And
welcome.
and just let us know. And also, we're open and available if we need to do Zooms and virtual meetings and face-to-face and hybrids for any community churches and all that. Please let us know, because it is really all about teaching and reaching people and empowering and not would say knowledge is power when it's applied. And then
Mhm.
sometimes we can't apply anything that we don't know of, but now we do know a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this, ask Ayanna today.
Thank you, Coach J. Renita.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So we look so as we wrap up, we want to thank Miss Janice for coming by, Coach J.
Yes.
Renita, for sharing time with us, and we look to have you back sometime in the near future. How about that?
Absolutely. I'd be
All
glad.
right, and give people your contact information on how to contact you, website, and all of that really quickly.
Well, you can reach me at www.jvernida.com. jvernita.com. That's the best place to reach me if you want to schedule an appointment, free consultation, of course. And I do have a phone number, 757-572-7845. Okay.
All right, and Mr. Artemis coming my face. Hello, Artemis. Hey.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you so much again, and have a good evening. And listen, everybody, as we wrap up another segment episode of Money Talks with Ayanna Smith, remember that money is always talking, even if we aren't talking about it. So I say, let's talk about it, and let's be empowered, and let's grow and be about our business. Have a great evening.